on an all-new Dr. Phil.
My mom is convinced that she's dying. The doctors find nothing wrong with her.
Weekly ambulance rides.
We're talking 24 ER trips, hundreds of tests.
Multiple plane flights.
You flew here with 2 nurses and landed 5 times.
She was worried that her lungs would collapse.
Are all her ailments
Why were you in a wheelchair?
My legs were going numb.
all in her head?
I was tired and weak. I don't sleep.
Because you're in the ER. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Well, life or death, 911 calls, ambulance rides, ER visits, countless consultations with over 75 doctors and specialists and hundreds, and I mean hundreds of blood tests, CAT scans, and MRIs performed in just the past 6 months. Why? Because my guest, Kathy, believes she's dying from kidney, heart, and liver failure, a brain tumor, and even lupus. But her daughter Adrian says these life-threatening conditions are all in her mother's head.
My heart's pounding out of my chest, palpitations, and I shouldn't be doing that.
My mom is absolutely convinced that she's dying. She is so obsessed that it's become her identity and her total life.
Vision's starting to get blurry, and I'm having a hard time. Usually is why I go to the hospital.
If you could name an illness, my mom definitely thought she's had it or is going to get it. Over the past 6 months, my mom has thought she's had brain tumor, lymphoma, hormonal problems, thyroid, kidney failure, diabetes, nerve damage, dehydration, numb extremities. The list goes on and on.
I used to just use this once in a while, but now I'm using it a little bit too much because now my arm is starting to feel sore, and I think it's starting to swell up my arm.
My mom wouldn't live in a hospital if they let her. My mom calls 911 multiple times in a week. She has been to the ER at least 30 to 50 times in the past 6 months. This is really crazy to me, and she doesn't like the results, and if they try to discharge her out of a hospital, she has refused to leave and told them that she will actually go back into the emergency room and readmit herself. Sometimes she'll actually have the ambulance take her to a surrounding hospital. My mom's probably seen like around 75 different doctors in the past 6 months. She's had MRIs on her brain, on her back, multiple blood tests, her bladder check. She's had nerve check. Every single time she goes to the hospital, the doctor finds absolutely nothing wrong with her. The doctors all say the same thing, that she's suffering from anxiety. She doesn't believe any of them. She refuses to believe she's not dying.
Just getting physically tired, mentally tired, and just hoping things will change.
It's exhausting to me because I've lost a normal relationship with my mother. Everything is consumed by her conditions. She has definitely lost her mind in this. She is sad and pathetic at this point.
Okay, Adrian, where did this come from? When did it start? Has she been this way her whole life?
No.
This just started 6 months ago, right?
Yes.
What was the trigger?
She had an episode when she was at the casino and passed out, and basically they diagnosed her with COPD and emphysema, and ever since then she's just gone downhill.
Okay, she was out with some friends.
Yep.
Was at the casino, just hanging out.
Yep.
And she fell off the stool, right?
Correct.
All right, and that's unusual. She's not given to that kind of thing, right?
No.
All right, so do they know why she fell off the stool?
I personally think it was because she was drinking.
Okay. You think she maybe had a little too much
Correct.
of the sauce? Okay. So how did she get from there to here?
When they took her to the emergency room that day, they said that she had COPD and emphysema. And as soon as she heard that, she just went 0 to 60, researching every test they've done and basically self-diagnosing herself.
Okay, but I've been through the medical records, and I'm not a physician, but I know how to read. And the COPD that she has, which is certainly nothing to trivialize or scoff at, but how does that go to brain tumors, heart condition, lupus, is, she's got everything
Addison.
but scurvy and rickets, right?
Yeah, literally.
So how does it get to all these other conditions that don't have anything to do with COPD?
They have an online portal, and basically it tells you like your blood work and everything like that. She researches like every little word that they write on there. And if hers is like a little bit elevated, it could be something as minimal as like a point. She will research every symptom, and then she says that she has it. And then she goes to the doctors for it, and she says that they're missing it, that they're not finding what's wrong with her, that they're missing everything.
All right. So she's going to the hospital how often?
She goes at least once a week. And she sees specialists and doctors almost every day.
Okay. And you say when she goes to the hospital, sometimes she refuses to leave.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not leaving.
Yeah, the one day they wanted to discharge her, and she was like, if you discharge me, I'm readmitting myself into the ER. So they kept her because what would be the point of discharging her? She's just going to come right back in.
Okay. Didn't she recently go to the ER, get sent home, get on the internet, find something new, a new test, and went back to the ER a second time the same day?
Yeah, just like a couple days ago, she went, they discharged her, said everything was fine. At 12:30 in the night, she jumped up, said, I know what it is. And she said she had respiratory acidosis. I don't know what it is. And
So
went
she wanted
back.
an atrial gas test, so she goes back.
And they did that. And they said that they went through her with like fine tooth and nothing was wrong.
How many times has she gone from her house to the hospital in an ambulance?
Oh, goodness gracious. Probably at least 20 to 30.
Okay, and what is it that she thinks requires ambulance instead of just getting in the car and going?
She wants her vitals done because she believes like she's dying right at that moment. She calls 911, so she wants them to do like the vitals the whole way there.
But she has her own blood pressure cuff, heart monitor. She has all this equipment that she's hooked up to all the time anyway, right?
Correct.
But she wants more equipment.
Yeah, she's actually taken back blood pressure machines because she didn't think that they were working properly.
Because it said hers was normal, so it must be broken.
You got that right.
Okay, now this is an intelligent woman, right?
Very intelligent.
And throughout most of her life, she's been life of the party.
Right.
Fun,
Exciting.
to be around?
Yeah.
Okay. But she falls off a bar stool one time. And you think it's because she had a bowl of blabbermouth soup. You know,
Yep.
she's got too
Yeah.
much drinking.
Yep.
Okay. So one time you think it triggered this whole thing.
Yeah.
And when you say to her you think this is mental and emotional, overreaction, anxiety, panic attacks, fear, what's her reaction?
She'll let me go if I tell her on the phone, and if I'm face to face with her, she'll basically tell me, well, I have a deadly disease, Adrienne, and you need to understand that.
Okay. One of the things she said about me,
Oh, goodness.
I wrote this down. This is a good thing. Okay. She said, Dr. Phil is my last hope. He is the only doctor I trust. Okay? Dr. Phil is my last hope. He's the only doctor I trust. Is that going to be short-lived if I don't agree with her?
I can't say either way, probably.
So you think I might move over to the quack side
You'll be with me.
if I don't agree with her?
Possibly, yes.
Do you think she'll listen and answer my questions?
You're my last hope, so I hope she does.
Well, we're going to find out because Kathy was worried her lungs would collapse while traveling here today. So we had to fly her with 2 registered nurses by her side. Now, they had to take 5 flights. Where'd you come from?
Buffalo.
They had to take 5 flights to get here from Buffalo, New York, because Kathy refused to be in the air over 2 hours at a time. So it was an 18-hour drama-filled trip. More about that after the break.
Feeling a little overwhelmed, getting really tired.
Our guest Kathy was worried that her lungs would collapse and would need oxygen if she flew on flights more than 2 hours at a time. So we booked her on 5 separate flights. A trip that should have taken 5 hours took 18 hours.
Why were you in a wheelchair?
I haven't been slept for days and days, and my legs were going numb, and I felt like I was going to collapse. Anybody I go see are biased. Everybody just assumes that here's somebody with anxiety and out the door she goes.
Multiple doctors have diagnosed my mom with anxiety. She refuses to believe she's not dying. My mom said if she dies, that I should sue these doctors because she's gone so many times and explained things and they're not taking her seriously.
Well, Kathy says I'm the only doctor she can trust because I'm not part of the conspiracy of medical professionals who are denying her the critical care she insists that she needs. So she risked it all to fly from the East Coast here to Los Angeles. She didn't like that, but she said it was worth it because I'm the one doctor that she trusts. It took a pair of traveling nurses constantly checking her vitals and TSA allowing her to bring her heart monitor machine on board. They had to let her do that in order for her to make it here alive, at least according to her. Take a look.
We're taking multiple flights today. We're taking 5 flights. Right. I was concerned about health issues being in the air too long. A little bit anxious, a little bit that we both have. So probably be better just to be up in the air for the least amount of time and then keep going through until we get there.
Our guest Kathy was worried that her lungs would collapse and would need oxygen if she flew on flights more than 2 hours at a time. So we booked her on 5 separate flights. A trip that should have taken 5 hours took 18 hours.
Kathy, what happened?
They had to check me for security due to the heart monitor that I was wearing. He had to pat me down in a separate area.
Because of Kathy's health concerns, we had 2 nurses travel with her to check her vitals. So if Kathy felt any symptoms, they could address it immediately and avoid the plane having to make an emergency landing.
Been walking quite a while now, so just trying to hang on, keep going. Just gotta take it slow and just get there without having to get myself anxious. Because of the COPD emphysema, you get tired quicker, and if your airwaves are being constricted, you're not getting as much oxygen. That can start causing you to feel panicky too. Finally in Kansas City, feeling a little overwhelmed, getting really tired. Just pretty much anxious just to get there, and still trying to make it.
Well, before we meet her, let's hear what she has to say about her life-threatening illnesses.
This here is the medical equipment that I use pretty much on a daily basis. I take blood pressure throughout the day, throughout the night, even while I'm in bed. I'm literally about to die or going to die in the near future because there is something physically wrong with me. I'm obsessed with my health 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. These are the general pulse oximeters. Generally measures the oxygen level in your blood and your heart rate at the time. Right now mine's a little high and that's got me concerned. I need to monitor my health because I'm nervous and I want proof that something may be actually going on. It's a little bit ridiculous, I know, to have 3, but it's to the point that I'm afraid to be without one. My families and doctors don't think I'm that sick. It literally feels like I'm in a parallel universe. I cannot function. It's gotten to the point where I'm really not sleeping much at night because I feel if I fall asleep, I'm not going to wake up. And I feel if I stay awake, I won't die. I've had an MRI done on my head and my neck and a pulmonary function test. The test didn't show anything majorly wrong, but I think that doctors are not testing the right things. And they're ignoring my symptoms. Before I even get a chance to utter a word, it's already presumed that I have some mental disorder. If it was another person, they would take it more seriously. I know how I feel. And when I'm feeling that something's wrong, I want it addressed. In spite of what people may think, I can drop dead any minute. Death is right around the corner.
Well, Kathy, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So tell me how I can help you.
Well, basically my goal for being here is to prove that I'm not, for lack of a better word, nuts. That I do have issues. It's not all in my mind. I know when I feel sick. Right now I don't feel sick, but when I am, I look sick, feel terrible. Just basically some validation that everything I'm going through isn't just anxiety or panic, because I've never had those conditions my whole life.
Well, that surprises me to hear you say what you just said. You said, I'm here to prove I'm sick. That's what you said. Let's consider that. And then you said, and it's not just anxiety. Now, as a mental health professional, I take offense to that. Why is that a second-class disorder?
Actually,
you say
I don't...
just anxiety, like that doesn't count.
No, I mean, I think what I meant is I'm willing to say I do have some anxiety, and I think a lot of it's developed due to the fact that I'm not getting what I feel is the proper care or attention. And it's not like that I want to prove I so per se have a a chronic, I do have a chronic illness, but not another chronic illness or another, just that these episodes that I'm having could be related to the COPD.
You've had 67 tests within just the last few days. And when a doctor opens your file and says, oh my God, this woman has had test after test after test after test after test, and it is negative, 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 normal, 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 just time after time after time, then I am going to be dismissive of her because it's like the little boy that cried wolf.
But like, in all fairness, these tests here, they do to everybody, no matter who walks into the emergency room. They're testing your blood, which is fine, but that's not the problem that a lot of times I'm going in there for.
All right, let's take a break. Next, she calls 911 for Kathy and checks her breathing in the middle of the night. She says she's become Kathy's caretaker. Does she believe Kathy is near death? We're going to meet who I'm talking about right after the break.
When we arrived in the ER, Kathy doesn't believe anything the doctors are saying. I also suffer from panic and anxiety, and it has tripled because of Kathy. I have to bite my tongue till it's almost off because I'm dying to say, Kathy, knock it off.
And later, tips on how to lose that dreaded belly fat from Dr. Travis Stork.
You like nachos?
Yes.
Nachos are in.
Yes.
This past Thursday, my sister Kathy was in the hospital 2 times in one day, complaining of chest pain, heart palpitations. She was a mess. Honestly, I did not think anything was wrong with her, but she just had herself completely overwhelmed.
I felt like I would die if she didn't get me help at that time. I was petrified.
About 5 paramedics came to my house and the fire department. There was a paramedic that said, haven't I been here before? Yes, probably, and you'll probably be here several more times. About 4 hours later, we came home, and a couple hours later, she jumped out of bed frantic. I figured out what's wrong with me, Debbie. I gotta go to the hospital right now. When we arrived in the ER, my sister was completely fine. This has become a never-ending cycle.
Well, that was Kathy's sister, Deborah, who, despite not believing her sister is gravely ill, has still dedicated her life to being Kathy's caretaker.
They keep telling me at the doctor's office, don't Google anything or scroll
I know,
anything.
but I can't help it, because I already have a little knowledge of it, so.
The more you look it up, the more you feel like you're having the symptoms. My sister's obsession with her health and fear of dying has literally taken over my life. I'm basically my sister Kathy's caregiver. I'm with Kathy every minute of every day. I take my sister to the ER doctor's appointments. I make sure she eats. I make sure she bathes. Kathy has it in her head that at any minute she can die. So I have to check in on my sister all through the night and make sure she's not blue. So often, when we arrived in the ER, Kathy doesn't believe anything the doctors are saying. I'll have to follow behind an ambulance to another town. It's always the same result. A lot of this is panic and anxiety. Kathy will not accept that. I also suffer from panic and anxiety, and it has tripled because of Kathy. I have to bite my tongue till it's almost off because I'm dying to say, Kathy, knock it off. My sister used to be vibrant, the life of the party, well-dressed, cared about how she looked. Now she'd lay on the recliner all day long, just wasting her life away. It's like a shell of a woman I don't know. Every day it just gets worse and worse. I love my sister. I feel so sorry for her, but I just can't live this way anymore.
Okay, Deborah, thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
I've done some math here. We're talking about 24 ER trips, hundreds of tests, MRIs, CAT scans, blood, urine, stools, x-rays, just all of this. Do you think that's excessive?
Very much so.
Do you think that's excessive?
Definitely.
Do you think that's excessive?
No.
You flew here with 2 nurses and landed 5 times to not be in the air more than 2 hours. Do you know of anybody in the history of aviation since the Wright brothers that have had their lungs collapse by staying in the air over 2 hours?
Not that I've heard of, no.
So Does that seem rational or irrational to you?
Oh, no. That's not rational. My concern was only just oxygen levels of breathing out. So much collapsing. I mean,
Well, this is Ellen Carter. She's a nurse that was flying with you. Hi.
Hi.
How were her vitals during the trip?
Her vitals were very good, stable,
Oxygen levels?
like 96 to 98%, which is good.
Yeah, that's good. So was there ever a point that if you didn't get on the ground in Kansas City, her lungs were going to collapse and we were going to drag off a carcass?
No,
Okay, so she was never on the edge.
no.
in all fairness, they went down to 93 a couple times too. Went down to 90, but they went back up.
In the beginning, she was very anxious. She kept her monitors on, and they became normal, 96, 98. And eventually, she stopped constantly testing herself because she got more relaxed.
Why were you in a wheelchair?
I haven't been slept for days and days, and my legs were going numb, and I felt like I was going to collapse.
Do you have any type of nerve damage that your legs don't work?
That's what they've still been checking for. I had something with my
No,
ankle.
I didn't ask what they're checking for. I'm asking you, do you have some kind of paralysis in your lower extremities that you can't walk?
No, it wasn't I couldn't walk. I was too tired and getting weak to walk, and my feet were going numb, my legs were going numb. So in 5 months, I've rarely gotten more than a few hours sleep a night. By that point, working on no sleep, I couldn't hardly.
Why could you
walk
not sleep? Why have you not been sleeping?
I don't sleep because my mind just is constantly going. I'm thinking of things. I'm trying to figure out.
Why is your mind constantly going?
Because I don't feel I have the answers that I need. And that creates more anxiety. I'm not saying I've never had anxiety and have panicked. It's causing me more, and it's just
So
overtaking.
you do have anxiety?
I'm saying I do. I didn't before all this.
So you were in a wheelchair because you were tired?
They offered it to me because I was so tired and couldn't walk. I didn't ask for it, and at the end, I refused one.
And you haven't been sleeping?
No, that sleeping's like nothing that even is part of my life hardly anymore.
Because you're in the ER. Adrian says her aunt should not be taking care of her mother because they feed off each other's paralyzing anxiety and constant drama. We're going to talk about that after the break. We'll be right back.
My aunt is dramatic to the nth degree.
Oh, I'm not getting on a flight for 3 hours.
Never.
I want to go home. You'll get off that. I've had it. I'm done. I will never, ever, ever, ever do something like this again.
Closed captioning provided by...
My mom is obsessed with self-diagnosing herself. My mom Googles and WebMDs everything for multiple hours a day. If her red blood cells were high, she would Google anything that has to do with red blood cells. She believes she has those symptoms, then that's what she has.
She's on her phone constantly, 24/7, just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling the internet to find new symptoms.
And I'll admit, I do a lot of research. I have the right to be informed.
She's on an online support group for COPD and emphysema. Many of these people are at advanced stages. They influence her to believe she is worse off than she is. My mom wastes a ton of time doing her vitals, probably at least 3 to 4 hours a day, to the point where she'll hide it. My mom is wasting her life away. It is completely ridiculous that my mother's doing all this for illnesses that do not exist.
Okay, imagine living every day believing that you were so sick that you could die any moment. That's how Kathy says she feels, but no one believes her, including her caretaker sister, her daughter, and even her doctors. Her daughter, Adrian, says what she does believe is that her mom and her aunt are no good for each other right now.
I'm going to say, I don't care. I'll go right back home right now. That's how I'm feeling.
My aunt is dramatic to the nth degree, especially with my mom.
They try to force me to get on a plane.
No, I would not do that.
Hours
Are you
I'm
crazy?
petrified to begin with.
I believe that they have similar characteristics, especially when it comes to anxiety.
Oh, I'm not getting on a flight for 3 hours.
Never.
My heart goes out of whack when I get too anxious.
Right.
And I'm not putting myself through that.
And we don't want you to. So what I'm
I
asking
don't
you...
want to be here. I want to go home. I'm petrified.
This basically comes down that she wants shorter flights because of her stress level, I guess.
My aunt and mom's anxieties feed off of each other and intensify each other's anxiety.
Anybody listen to me?
Because I'm scared.
This is a very short flight.
I've had it. I'm done. I will never, ever, ever, ever do something like this again. I want to go home.
What's going on?
Chaos. Nothing can just go smooth and easy like every other person on the face of the earth does. There's got to be a little turmoil to everything. My sister just thinks that everything is wrong. It's starting to kind of get me on the anxious, panicky side. She wants to go home or something, so I'm just waiting it out. I'm just doing my thing that I came here for, and that's all I'm going to worry about from now on.
Well, this wasn't a pleasant trip
No, not at all.
Half and half.
for you two.
Not really.
You gave us a list of your symptoms.
From which time?
No, I combined them all.
Oh.
You gave us a list of your symptoms. Here they are. This is a list of your symptoms. You said, I have apprehensiveness, paralysis, sense of impending panic,
Oh, yeah.
danger, doom, your heart rate. You said you're worried about your heart because your heart rate goes up and down. Your rapid breathing, sweating that you don't understand, and fatigue.
I can add some more, too.
No, I do have another list.
Oh, okay.
This is one of the lists. These are the characteristics of the anxiety disorder symptoms. You didn't report trembling.
So that doesn't count then.
Everything you're experiencing are the diagnostic criteria for anxiety disorder.
But I also have other things going on that...
I'm not saying you don't.
Panic and anxiety disorder has the symptoms of a lot of stuff and also has symptoms of other illnesses.
I'm not saying you don't.
I'm saying I could even be having a reaction to one of my inhalers, because you've noticed too. And when I didn't use one of them for a while...
No,
Okay.
I didn't notice. You told me.
No, wait a minute.
But I'm acting normal now because I didn't use that inhaler.
You cannot dismiss me.
Right to that.
You
Oh, no,
cannot
I'm not
dismiss
sorry.
me by talking about an inhaler with your daughter.
I feel like I'm being dismissed when I'm saying something's wrong with me.
Yeah, well, I feel like I'm being dismissed when you start talking to her about an inhaler, when I take your words and I go do my research and this is what I find. So what do you say about that?
I say that's exactly correct, and I say that this is all happening to me because of what I'm feeling happening. Because I think I'm being dismissed by my symptoms. So yes, I believe that this is what I'm having because of that. The symptoms that I was having, it showed up on my blood report that this one elevation was something in the CO2 level, which means I didn't have enough CO2 in my blood, and that affects how you act. Mentally, I was confused, and eventually those levels got back to normal.
Your blood report was normal.
But there are tests that show that it wasn't. Certain things weren't.
That's just simply not true. You want to get better?
Of course. Who wouldn't?
All right, next, Kathy says she's not the only person doctors have misdiagnosed and ignores. She claims her own mother wasn't taken seriously as well. We'll talk about that after the break.
I lost my mother 7 years ago from cancer. My mom would go to the doctor complaining of certain things, and they just assumed that it was pneumonia.
My mother insisted something was wrong.
They would just tell her she'd be okay, just take an antibiotic. No additional testing was done until she actually started coughing up blood. It turned out that it was lung cancer.
My mom's passing had a very big impact on my sister. A part of Kathy is afraid that if they misdiagnosed Ma, who's to say they're not misdiagnosing me? And I'm gonna end up right where Ma is.
Because of my mother not getting properly diagnosed, I'm more persistent than she was. What happened to my mom, I'm determined to not have happen to me.
Closed captioning provided by You say that your mother was misdiagnosed and she actually had lung cancer. Very sorry for your loss, by the way.
Thank you.
They were telling her it's the same thing over and over and over. And he ordered a different type of test, and at that point they discovered it was lung cancer. Already started spreading to her brain, her bones, and...
Well, I'm very sorry for y'all's loss, and but that was her, this is you. And joining us via Polycom is a professional that I trust more than anyone. This is Dr. Frank Lawless. He's not only the chairman of our advisory board here at the Dr. Phil Show, he's a diplomate in both counseling and clinical psychology. He is head of the P&P Center, that's the Psychoneuroplasticity Center, which is, in my opinion, the leading diagnostic center in the country. And
is that just mental disorders, or?
They do everything. Dr. Lawless, I think she needs a very thorough diagnostic workup. What do you think?
Absolutely. One of the things about anxiety is that it mimics a lot of other diseases. And when she says that she feels these symptoms, I believe her. Because what happens with anxiety, or part of anxiety, is that you change your breathing pattern. And changing breathing patterns can change over 2,000 functions of the body.
For you to say, yeah, it's just anxiety, you don't understand. That affects everything that you're concerned about, and that has to be dealt with first to get down to a baseline and find out what's really going on here. Do you see what I'm saying? It's much more involved than what you think. Fair enough?
That's fair. Also, though, can I say one thing?
I do, yes.
If in fact, that's causing me anxiety.
Yeah, me too.
If in fact, say, when you treat people with medications in the beginning, you have to see what's going to work for them. If maybe some of this stuff is happening, maybe because that's not the right medication, if it's having an allergic reaction, because a couple times when I didn't use it, I felt completely better.
All of that's going to be reviewed.
That is.
Everything
okay, that's
is
making
baseline.
me feel better, because I don't feel that
Everything
you're
is baseline.
ignoring.
Nothing is taken for granted.
Okay,
here.
that's what I mean. I don't want something to be ignored.
That's what I mean by baseline.
I feel better already.
Yeah. See, I have that effect on women.
Right.
All right. Coming up, why two best friends say they have become each other's worst enemies when it comes to one thing. Find out what next. Well, now that the holidays are over, it's that time again for making new goals for the year. Now, apparently, the #1 New Year's resolution is to stay fit and healthy. Now, Angie and Kathy are both single moms and best friends who do just about everything together, including going hiking and taking Zumba classes together. Now, the problem is when they're done working out, they pick up tacos. Sometimes at 2 a.m., or they have a pizza party with their children. Now, they both claim it's impossible to lose weight while they're having a blast spending time together. Take a look.
Kathy and I are great friends.
We met in a group for single parents.
We're moms who are single and ready to mingle, but we want to shed some weight. I want to start dating again. My weight keeps me from feeling confident about dating. I assume people aren't going to be interested in me. I want to date, but I just want to feel more attractive.
I am ready to lose weight. I want to get in shape for my 50th birthday in April. My goal is to lose 30 pounds.
I lost 20 pounds in the last year. My goal was to lose 50 pounds by my 50th birthday, but then I plateaued.
Angie and I spend so much time together. Whatever Angie and I do, we always have a great time.
It's a habit. We go out, have a good time, and then we go eat junk after.
We love to get out the blender and make margaritas. At least that's my favorite. We get together with friends, and it usually involves food and drinks.
We always make plans to go to the gym together, but we often end up eating instead.
We're both bad, but Angie probably eggs me on more.
I'm worse than Kathy. I avoid the exercise more than she does.
Angie and I will go hiking. Then one of us says I'm hungry, and we will go for food. I am sure I eat about 4,000 calories sometimes. Angie and I need help reaching our goals. How do we lose those extra pounds? Dr. Phil, please, please help us. We both need to lose weight.
Well, at least you're honest. I'll give you that. All right, please welcome my very good friend, host of the Emmy-winning show, The Doctors, Dr. Travis Stork. He's here for a very specific reason. He has written a new book out in bookstores today all over the country. It is the Lose Your Belly Diet, Change Your Gut, Change Your Life. So, Dr. Stork, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you're here. I need help.
First of all, I love the two of you. I want to spend time with the two of you because you have so much energy. So there's a lot of hope here because the two of you.
You have hope.
Well, you guys are best buddies. You do everything together. You just seem to be making one too many excuses. You like nachos?
Yes.
Nachos are in.
Oh, yes. Good.
Chili cheese fries.
Chili cheese fries. That's her.
But,
Okay.
Man, you give them an inch, they take a mile.
I don't have that recipe in the book, but look, the two of you are not unlike a lot of people right? We enjoy. Everyone wants chili cheese fries all the time, so what you have to start doing is working in alternatives. And what's really fascinating, Dr. Phil, you and I have talked about this a lot, is there's all this interesting new research out there about our guts and our gut microbiome and our gut bacteria, which doesn't sound very sexy, I admit it. But it's really cool because did you guys know that we have 100 trillion bacteria living in our guts? So here's the silver line. Up to 100 trillion, they weigh up to 6 pounds, but these are a good 6 pounds if we treat them right. And the reason this is so exciting is you two ladies have been feeding your guts all the wrong foods. If you switch it up, what's amazing is these 100 trillion bacteria all of a sudden will do wonderful things for your waist, for your overall health. But you need to make some simple swaps. And that's why I wrote the book, Dr. Phil, because it doesn't have to mean give up all the fun foods out there. It's swapping ingredients. For instance, with meat, if you're making chili, replace some of the meat with beans. That bean, loaded with fiber, loaded with protein, you feel much fuller. Or if you're having a sandwich, instead of mayo, put hummus on it. Hummus, fiber, protein. Instead of putting it on white bread, put it on a whole grain bread. What are you getting? You're getting more fiber. The key is learning about how you can cheat without sabotaging your health and your waistline. And I think that's why the book is so important, because it talks about how to feed your gut, feel full, but actually lose weight in the process.
I have to tell you, after I detoxed off of things just like regular chips, and Robin and I eat the different kinds of chips, there are root chips and bean chips, things like that. Then when you pick up a regular one, it's like you got a mouthful of grease. Once you detox from it, you won't go back to it, I promise.
That's not a good thing?
No, it's not a good thing.
Wait a minute.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to meet another woman who just might convince them Travis's plan does work. After the break.
Since I started the Lose Your Belly diet, I've lost 15 pounds.
I've lost 26 pounds.
Since being on Lose Your Belly diet, I have lost 18 pounds.
And I have lost 19 pounds.
This is a lifestyle. This is how you should be eating all the time. All the meals are incredible.
There's a lot of variety. I don't feel like I have to give anything up.
It makes me feel healthy. It's just incredible. I'm looking at this to change my life. I feel perfect just the way I am right now. So thank you, Lose Your Belly diet.
We have our 10-year anniversary coming up. Now I want to go to Hawaii because I want to be on a beach in a bathing suit.
Closed captioning provided by... All right, I'm back with Dr. Travis Stork and Angie and Kathy. We are talking about the Lose Your Belly diet, change your gut, change your life. And one of the things that I've noticed, because I've seen a lot of the results of the people that you are working with here, you're getting a lot of change in the waistline, right?
And that's why I call it the Lose Your Belly diet, because I know the two of you, the age of 50, the Vegas plans, and I know your focus is all about you want to look good when you go to Vegas. I get that, I understand that. But yes, Dr. Ville, I think it's important that not all weight loss is good weight loss, okay? That it seems like it always is, but what I did key in on this book is, yeah, if you're losing 10 pounds, what I want to do is I want to see you lose a lot of that weight from your belly. Not only will you look better, you'll feel better, because a lot of that belly fat, that's the most dangerous fat that we carry. And so this is specifically designed to help people eliminate that fat, not only for health reasons, but I acknowledge big plans for Vegas, right?
Big plans.
Yes.
All right, now Jennifer went on Dr. Travis's diet at the age of 47 because she noticed her metabolism, well, she just felt like it was slowing down. So what'd you find once you got started?
I lost the belly. Not right at the start, but it took some time, and it was a really consistent weight loss, about a pound, pound and a half a month. And that the weight had been put on actually rather quickly. I've never put on weight like that before in my life, so it was a really obvious metabolism hormone kind of thing going on. And it came off faster than it went on.
Jennifer's starting weight was 170 pounds, and her ending weight after 3 months was 148 pounds. And you really, when you look at your waist, I see exactly what you're talking about.
I love that people lose weight because it motivates them. They see the scale, they see the number drop. But would you not agree that the thing that you've enjoyed the most is when you look at your profile in the mirror, gives you that sense of confidence and it makes you want to carry on?
Absolutely. I mean, it's been, I feel so much better about myself. I was not in a good place.
Change your gut, change your life. We're learning so much about the interplay between our gut, and I mentioned the gut bacteria, and our emotional health, and just how we feel. And I think it's so important to highlight what Jennifer just said, which is not only does she look and feel better, everything has changed. I have full faith that the two of you can do just that.
I'm glad someone does.
Yeah, you got to be triggers for success, not failure.
Right.
I want to thank all of my guests, and a special thanks to the host of The Doctors, Dr. Travis Stork, author of The Lose Your Belly Diet. Change your gut, change your life. Please go get your copy today at bookstores, or you can go to thebooknook.com. Both Ghost Mountain Books and thebooknook.com are owned in part by my son, Jay. And everyone in the audience is going home with a copy. We'll see you next time. Guys, thanks so much.